sky. O to the D-line. Come on, get behind the home team. Somebody scream, go blue! Come catch the feeling. Reach for the ceiling. Cause we getting that banner and we'll hang it up high. Scream for the home team. New rings and trophies. Go blue! Go Colts! Go blue! Go Colts! You wanna rock? You wanna roll? We gonna win it. The Super Bowl. Let's go! You wanna rock? You wanna roll? We gonna take it. The Super Bowl. You saw that comeback. You saw the drive. Tony D on the side.
You gotta call your play and you gotta run it. You gotta save your timeout if you're able to pick it up, so you have time to kick a field goal.
Here's the game for Pittsburgh. 4th and 10. Fields, can he get it out? He does, and it is incomplete. Julian Blackmon was there, and the Indianapolis defense holds up 3 with 29 seconds left.
And in a second half, that was just brilliant for this offense. A complete disaster for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers.
Boy, Justin Fields was sensational getting them back nearly all the way back as Indy almost blows a 17-0 lead, but Shane Steichen and company hold, and they win it to get their second straight win in as many weeks.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Bleed Bloody Blue. If you're wondering why I am not in a good mood right now, it's that I'm in a good mood about the game for sure. 29-27 win as the Colts were able to hold on to that win. It was just a very stressful day overall, and family-wise it was stressful. I had a stressful day at least. I'm still trying to recover from some things, but I'm glad the Colts won today. I am really happy that the Colts won today. And not only did Anthony Richardson get hurt in this game, I will tell you this. The coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, he is one of the worst play callers at the end of every game. He always has been, because the Steelers were trash. And one thing I can say is that as we were watching the game together, watching the Anthony Richardson injury, that's been the number one thing that I think Colts fans are probably worried about as of right now, and it could be the elephant in the room as years or as days go on, as they do. I will say, though, that the Colts had a great defensive day today, one of the best that we have had in years. I would say that defense is legit and is elite. They are legit and elite enough to continue to do a great job and to continue to do some amazing things. And I think that whole defensive line, without Kwity Paye, without any of our starters, we did an amazing job. Just amazing job today defensively. And, of course, at the end, we were able to get stops on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, again, as I mentioned with Mike Tomlin, cannot capitalize on fourth quarter performances. And this will mark the Pittsburgh Steelers' first loss of the season. And I would actually say it was one of the best losses of the season, because this was an amazing performance by the Colts D-line. O-line too. More specifically, Joe Flacco. Flacco today was incredible. Put us up on late drives, put us up on amazing field goal positions, but we were able to hold on to the victory by 3 points. If he can only do one thing and not scramble out of the pocket, but do what he did in Cleveland last season and just keep the ball steady, hold on to it better, and quit resulting in turnovers. That was his problem in Cleveland. He's carrying this problem through to Indianapolis, and he is going to likely be the starter for about 2 or 3 weeks. There's no way we're putting Ellinger under center. There's no way we're putting that one Sanchez guy under center, who had a big preseason game this season against the Arizona Cardinals. But we're not going to do that this year, as it's not the Indianapolis Colts. But the number one concern is Anthony Richardson. I think this will be an injury he can come back from. This isn't like last year where it's a season-ending injury. And as many of us know, you may not have an opportunity to play if it wasn't a hip injury. But I would say this. My grandmother had a hip surgery, and maybe he'll need surgery, maybe he'll need injuries support, but I hope that he can get back onto the field in less than 4 or 5 weeks. But I will say he's very inconsistent. Even today he was inconsistent. But he had a good play on the first 2 drives, but he specifically was really tough to tame out there with the turnovers and interceptions. He cannot hold on to the ball. And as one person commented on one of the podcasts I did record, he said Anthony Richardson is not a NFL ready quarterback. He's more like a college QB. And today I saw why. Today I saw why that was the case. And it is unfortunate that we have a quarterback that is not really prepared to be under center as the starter because, of course, we had Andrew Luck, and he started right away, and he was really good at it. And now you have to knock on wood every time he has to talk about coming back to the NFL, which he hasn't done in a while. But yeah, Joe Flacco, would I say who was the best of the two? I'd say Joe Flacco was maybe better than Anthony Richardson, and maybe if you got Joe Flacco last year, we would not have been on that losing streak that we were on late into the season. But here's the thing. Gardner Minshew and Joe Flacco are a whole lot better than Anthony Richardson. A whole lot better because they got more experience and depth. He doesn't. You saw his game against the Green Bay Packers Colts fans. You saw that game. It was ridiculous how many turnovers he was turning over at the end of the game. It was crazy that he wasn't consistent with the football. And the Packers should never have won that game. Never should have won that game. We should have gotten a score, 2 scores after the 2-minute warning, and then got it down to 17-16 instead of 16-10. It's unfortunate. It really is. And we put a young kid in a position where he has to be experienced even though he's young. And that's a big problem. And one of the most inexperienced problems that we have with the modern generation of quarterbacks compared to when we were able to put somebody who was same age as Anthony Richardson when he started, ended up being a Pro Bowl style quarterback, multiple Pro Bowls and 1 Super Bowl with us, and he really was in 2 Super Bowl appearances. You know what I'm talking about, Peyton Manning, for those that don't know. But my goodness, who doesn't even know what Peyton Manning was capable of doing? He was the most incredible quarterback we ever had. And not only was he the most incredible quarterback that we ever had, he was a great quarterback that we had. And he was able to start right away, right and focused. Anthony Richardson's too all over the place. But Joe Flacco, and even last year with Gardner Minshew, we can tell that these new guys are not ready for the league. And they just put them out in the league and put them in and tell you that you had all this money and experience in college, and it's literally ruining sports. It's ruining sports, and college and collegiate sports needs to take a good look in the mirror and figure out who they truly are, because the NCAA is just letting this money flow away in the wind like trees and become more of an addiction like sports gambling. I mean, it's just ridiculous that they put a quarterback like Anthony Richardson in, but have better QBs like Joe Flacco and Gardner Minshew. But I will tell you that anybody that's got a lick of experience will have to step up in these moments because Anthony Richardson's not ready for it. I will tell you, other than the D-line, speaking of that, other than the D-line and the O-line, the O-line needs a lot of fixing, especially to protect the quarterback like we saw with Anthony Richardson's injury. That's the reason why. Don't allow these big defenders to get hits on our QB. It's ridiculous. It's honest to God ridiculous. And I can stress about it all day long, and I could read about every book and every novel about how to play a good O-line, but for 17 straight seasons, we haven't been able to figure it out. And no matter how many times Jim Irsay is going to sit and twiddle his thumbs in his office in Indianapolis, we still can't get the O-line position figured out. We just can't. We haven't been able to do this since the days of Jeff Saturday and Reggie Sanders. I mean, it's ridiculous. Just ridiculous that we cannot find a way to play good, solid O-line play. Because if it wasn't for that, it'd be something else. And if it wasn't for our D-line, it'd be our O-line. That's how it kind of is. We're like the old version of the Indiana Hoosiers sometimes. But today we actually got the win compared to some of those other teams that were really, really bad. Until, thank you, Kurt Signetti, for allowing us to be 5-0 for the first time in 57 years. And we won the Big Ten the last time we did get to 5-0 on the season, which is an amazing accomplishment, and that we'll save for another day. But I will tell you that it is an amazing moment for the Colts, as they're now 2-2 on the year, and hopefully we can try to figure out the quarterback situation, figure out the O-line situation. Why aren't quarterbacks being protected? Even Joe Flacco wasn't protected. And so the D-line was perfect. They were good. But the Steelers, they did not look fresh. They looked off. They looked bad. They looked really bad, and I'm glad they were. I saw a lot of Steelers fans over at the Culvers in our hometown today, and I thought to myself, all these Steelers fans are now eating at Culver's after getting their butts nearly smacked by that D-line. And butter burgers and french fries will not do it justice for the amount of high-profile events that were happening in the second half with Justin Fields playing like Justin Fields, passing and throwing and really running it really, really well. D-line wasn't there today at points, but they were in the second half. But what I will tell you is that the Steelers are absolute garbage, they're absolute trash, and they're the worst organization in all of football. The worst. There's no other team in North America that is as mentally insane and needs to be locked up in the loony bin than the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base. They're one of the worst in sports, and I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I just always have been, always will be an Indianapolis Colts fan. I'm for the shoe. Beat the Steelers, and next week beat the Jaguars. Let's kick the Jaguar and fly. This is our team. Go Colts. That's my life. So I'm just going to say it. The Steelers suck. They suck. They suck. And I'm going to say it one more time. They suck. Just to really put an emphasis there, knowing that how much I do not like the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we still have PTSD from 2005. I still have PTSD from 2016 on Thanksgiving. But we could do better than that against a team like the Steelers in those years, but I thought this year we finally get the dub against the Steelers, and I'm happy. Yep, today the Colts have had its fair share of moments, and we wish Anthony Richardson the very best of recovery, and along with some of the other players on the O-line and the D-line that were also struggling today with injuries. And I will tell you that the Colts have hope, even with Pat McAfee saying, "Oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl." I don't think we will. If we do, we got to play better than this. But yeah, speaking of that, stats for today, presented by Amazon Music. I'll get today's sponsor at the end of this. I will say, though, that Joe Flacco had a good day today, better than Anthony Richardson, but he was 3 of 4 for 71 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. But Joe Flacco got the most sacks and was 16 of 26 for 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then in terms of rushing, we got Jonathan Taylor, 88 yards for 21 carries. He was incredible today. And then Anthony Richardson ran it a little bit. We had Adonia Mitchell, who I refer to as Mitchell in the first podcast that I published about the breaking story. He ran for 10 yards today, with his longest run being 10 yards. Receiving core today was good. Josh Downs and Michael Pittman especially. Alec Pierce didn't get much action, but Drew Okatree is someone that I think we could be utilizing a lot more. If you have to compare this to the Pittsburgh Steelers receiving core, George Pickens and Michael Penix, or I almost said Michael Penix. What am I thinking of? I thought Indiana for a minute. Michael Pittman and George Pickens had equal rushing yards and equal yards per gain at 113 yards, except Michael Pittman had 6 receptions and George Pickens had 7 receptions. Pittman's longest yard was 32 yards, and Pickens was 38. So Justin Fields ran it for a little bit. I know that he ran this for the most yards today at 55. He's been doing incredible. Just incredible on the offensive line with running the ball. He could try it in Chicago, just did not have much capabilities to run the ball in Chicago with that crappy O-line the way it is. It wasn't much to be fondling with. It really was one of those situations where he just had nowhere to go and nowhere to turn and nowhere to look. And now he's in this team in Pittsburgh, and I think of him a little bit differently now. But I will say that Justin Fields had a good game. And the D-line itself today for the Colts was the story of the day, as E.J. Speed, Zaire Franklin, Nick Cross, Julian Blackman, Jalen Jones, Chris Lamons, Jalen Carls, Deo Agumbawale, and Taven Bryan did incredible today. I can't stress it enough. They did incredible. And EJ Speed especially, as we were able, and Deo Agumbawale, who was able to get 1.5 sacks and 0.5 sacks. But we had 2 loose footballs by EJ Speed. But other than that, he carried 12 solo tackles with 13 total tackles per game. Hopefully that helped out your fantasy football league. And then, today was, for the most part, good on the kicking and punting end. We had more punts successful. Matt Gay missed 1 field goal today, which, again, we need to improve the kicking. I've not been a fan of Matt Gay. He hasn't really been my favorite player, but in my opinion, I think Vinatieri should have been playing longer in the league, and I think he had more potential sometimes than Matt Gay at points. But yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go to 3-1 on the season, and the Indianapolis Colts are going to be 2-2 on the season. And the next game we're going to play is against the Jacksonville Jaguars. As for the Pittsburgh Steelers, their next game that is coming up on the calendar will be on next Sunday, October 6th, against the Dallas Cowboys. And then they got a home series or away series against the Vegas Raiders, not Oakland. That was a sad day in the city of Oakland last week. And I will say that the A's should not have moved. Simply put, they should not have moved. The owners are just crap, and it was a really emotional day last Thursday. So I'm hoping that this week can be a better week in terms of that. But I will tell you that it is frustrating to see ownership be like that. And kind of like I said, when Baltimore moved to Indy, I think it was the same feeling too for the people of Baltimore. And I commend all those people for facing through that challenge, because we got a team at the end, which I'm happy for, but at the end of the day, it's still very heartbreaking to be losing your team, especially if you were old enough to remember. But yeah, if you hear anything in the background, I'm listening to the Buffalo Bills Ravens Sunday Night Football game. I had to record this a lot more later than usual because we were heading back to our place as we were visiting my grandmother at her grandmother's house, and then we were coming back to where our residence was, and then had a good assortment of food, and then came back here. But yeah, the Colts won today. I hope you all have a good night. I'm going to probably study and then get some shut-eye. And yep, the College Football Podcast, we are hoping that we can get that published soon. Life has just been busy. But thank you all so much, everyone. Have a good night, and go Colts!
Indianapolis, stand up! Ha! Go blue! Ha! Go blue! Come on! Go blue! Stand up! 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 Go blue! Come on! Coach Super Bowler, blue, stand up, get your hands in the sky. O to the D-line, come on, get behind. The home team, somebody scream, go blue. Come catch the feeling, reach for the ceiling, cause we getting that banner and we'll hang it up high. Scream for the home team, new rings and trophies. Go blue, go Colts, go blue, go Colts. You wanna rock, you wanna roll, we gonna win it, the Super Bowl. Let's go. You wanna rock, you wanna roll, we gonna take it, the Super Bowl. You saw that comeback, you saw the drive. Tony D on the side, we got the pride, we got the O-line.
This video or podcast is sponsored by Amazon Music. Thousands of podcasts and shows are made every day, from the conversations of Joe Rogan to the crimes of Morbid, and music by 50 Cent and Sabrina Carpenter. Amazon Music has the right taste in music, podcasts, and shows for you. With a growing audience of 52.5 million people using Amazon Music every day, you can help in a contributing way to benefit this new version of what was once called radio. With thousands of music and podcasts to listen to, you can listen to our podcast too, keeping things in the middle. And with you signing up, listening to one of our episodes on your app or on your computer, you can help my podcast grow to become an ever-expanding podcast group and become a new member of our listening on Amazon Music. Please use our offer down in the description below, and it would help me a lot because it would help me earn a little bit of money. Amazon Music, the site where you need to go to listen to podcasts, stories, and music that may have you bopping the whole night through.